So now we are in the dairy section, and dairy is super important, especially for kids, because they need to get their calcium and their vitamin D. Some kids are not big fans of milk though, so there are other ways of getting your calcium and vitamins and protein by choosing cheese. And I like the 2% cheeses, the reduced fat. Brings down the fat content in them because cheese, being an animal product, does have saturated fat. So you always want to choose maybe a lower fat variety. But the reason I like the reduced fat better than the fat-free is it tastes better and it melts better. So you always want to look for that reduced fat, and you'll see it right there on the label, 2% or reduced fat. Another thing that I love is string cheese, especially for kids. They love that. You can just grab it and go, and it actually keeps it room temperature for a little while, so if they're taking it with them on the bus or for a snack in the afternoon, that's fine. I, again, choose the 2% variety, but that's a great snack to keep on hand for kids. Okay, so now we're in the milk department, and a lot of times people are confused, what kind of milk should I be drinking? I just say, go with what you like. 2% is great. If you're a whole milk drinker, you're definitely going to have to watch out for calories and fat. So I usually suggest like a 2% or a 1%, even skim is fine. Some kids aren't really up to the whole skim milk, but if you get them started like on a 2%, you can gradually wean them off and get them to 1%. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of fat, because a lot of vitamins are fat-soluble vitamins.
Okay.
So you do need a little fat in your diet, so you want to make sure that you're getting some fat when you're taking those vitamins in. So it's okay to have like a 1% or 2%. The other thing is different alternatives to milk, like soy milk, almond milk. People always ask questions, is it healthier? It's really more of a preference. If you can't tolerate dairy, that's a great option to have, but you do want to be careful because a lot of those milks are flavored like vanilla or chocolate and have sugar added to them.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that they're unsweetened and that they're fortified with calcium and vitamin D. Now we're in the butter section, and there's always a ton of choices here.
This is where I get confused.
It's very confusing. First of all, when margarine came out, it was supposed to be the biggest, best thing because it replaced butter and it was so much better for you. But what we found out is it contains trans fats, and trans fats are worse for you than saturated fats. So you want to be careful that you don't have trans fats in your foods.
Okay.
Best way to tell is by flipping it over and looking at the ingredient list. It will say partially hydrogenated oils. If you see anything that says partially hydrogenated oils, that is a trans fat. So you want to be cautious. So what we've learned is butter isn't as bad as we thought. It's just moderation. You don't need to use a ton of it. A little butter goes a long way. If you're looking to save on calories and fat though, you can get something called whipped butter. And what they do is they incorporate air into it and kind of whip it, so you have a lot less density, but you still have the same taste as butter, and
less fat.
And less fat. 45% less fat. It's just made with sweet cream and salt. Very good for you as far as lower calorie, much better than a margarine.